right. Can anyone hear me? I hope you can. See, I haven't done this for like over 2 weeks, I guess, or 3 weeks. Yeah, so I guess let's get the show running then. Yep. So, Assalamu ala manittaba al huda. Welcome, brothers and sisters in Islam, to another live stream of my channel, The Muslim Apologist. And I'm your host, MENJ. And today is a special live stream of sorts, you could say, because, among other things that I want to do for this live stream is that I just want to make a quick announcement that I will not be, updating this channel or have any other live streams after this due to work commitments. Because you see, I have a life outside of YouTube. I don't spend my time 24/7 on YouTube. I need to, basically make a living. So because of that, work commitments, as well as I have a special project coming up, or you could say special projects coming up, plural, which is also related somewhat to apologetics. Therefore, I decided to, focus more on that. And I'm afraid I will have to, sacrifice a bit of my time for that, and therefore I would not be able to commit myself to updating YouTube at least for another 2 or 3 weeks. Yeah. So, but don't worry, I will still be around. It's just that it won't be any live streams or any videos. I actually have a long line of videos that I want to record, but unfortunately, because of the reasons as I've mentioned earlier, I'm afraid I will need to take a rain check on that. So you would not be seeing me after this live stream, at least not for now. Okay, though I guess the Christians will be clapping their hands right now because, hey, MENJ, the Muslim Apologist, is leaving YouTube. No, I'm not leaving YouTube. I'm not David Wood. I'm not deleting my channel, and I'm certainly not shirking away from my responsibilities as the Muslim Apologist. Okay, it's just that life has a way sometimes to catch up with you, and you need to focus more on life sometimes, more so than your other pursuits in life. So I need to prioritize. So that's one of the reasons. Okay. Another news that I would love to share with my viewers is that, alhamdulillah, recently I've secured something wonderful that will boost my economic stature, you could say, for lack of a better for the lack of a better description, I guess. I won't tell you exactly what it is. It's just that, I could say that if everything goes well as planned, hopefully, and if everything does not fuck up as has happened before in the past, and if things go well and stay to my plan, then I would say that perhaps in the first quarter of 2023, I can actually start ordering or start calling contractors to renovate my studio. Okay, which I think some of you may have glimpses of, but because of the condition of the studio at the moment, I could not do anything about it. So right now it's just acting as a warehouse of sorts. But with this sudden boost in economic income, alhamdulillah, I could actually get things moving. And I would say no, I think first quarter of 2023 will be a bit too hopeful. I would put it at maybe the early quarter of quarter 2 2023. I will get contractors to start renovating the studio and putting in fittings and repaint the place, fumigate the area, repaint it, put in glass doors, etc., security features, soundproofing, everything that a studio needs. and hopefully by the end of next year, or sorry, by the middle or by the end of next year, you will not see me streaming from here. Yeah, so I'll leave that uh, as a surprise. Okay, why that is so. And yeah, as of course, this requires attention elsewhere in order to make it happen. So again, it goes back to the earlier reason why I need to take a rain check on YouTubing, live stream, and otherwise. You see, right now, there's this StreamYard logo, right, on the left, sorry, on the right of your screen. Usually, you will not see that. You will actually see my logo, but because I don't know why StreamYard is having an issue with my credit card, therefore I couldn't renew my package with them. And since I've already stated or scheduled that this live stream will be live now, therefore I just decided to just go ahead with the live stream. And yeah, I mean, I'll just let the logo there, okay, the annoying logo from StreamYard there. Even though my intention was to actually pay so that my own branding would be appearing instead of theirs, but oh well, things happen. Okay, shit happens. Okay, so I guess let's go on with the show. Wow, that's quite a lot of long rambling, right? So sorry for that. I just wanted to share the good news and semi bad news and good news, right? So the good news is that the studio will hopefully be operational by towards the end of next year. The bad news is that, well, the bad news for Christians, for Muslims, I guess, but not bad news for Christians, right? The bad news is that I will not be able to, commit myself to the channel for at least 2 or 3 weeks, okay, until everything is settled. Okay, so before I continue with the topic, I will, of course, as usual, play my intro. Okay, so without further ado, cue in intro. So yes, we're back again, and yeah. So the topic today is basically talking about the false god Yahweh. Yeah, Yahweh the Satan. So these Christians, they have this annoying habit of going around to Muslim channels and saying, "Oh, you don't worship the one true God. We worship the true God called Yahweh." Right? But if you have watched some of my videos where I touch on the topic, albeit a bit briefly, I have mentioned many times that this name Yahweh is the name of a pagan god in Israel, which had a wife called Asherah. And this pagan god was definitely not the God of Israel, okay, that Moses worshipped. Okay, this false god Yahweh is an idol. Okay, there is an image of Yahweh, the false god. Okay, so how could Muslims actually bow down to this false god, this piece of shit called Yahweh, the Satan? Okay, so Muslims, it's actually incumbent upon Muslims to deny and denounce this false god called Yahweh. Okay, so I think I've shown many times before in the past some books that I actually have on the topic, and in fact I did show some of them during my debate with Apusi. Apusi tried to bring up this issue of this false god Yahweh, and I think I overwhelmed him with the books that I had. So yeah, this is one of them, right? Did God have a wife? Archaeology and folk religion in ancient Israel. All this, by the way, the face of Asherah. Okay, the false god Yahweh's wife. So this false god Yahweh actually has a wife called Asherah. And yeah, this is actually, you can actually see some. This is actually a very interesting book. I'm going to try and see if there is a picture of Yahweh in here. Let me see now. It's very tiring to see Christians claiming that Yahweh is the divine name of God and Muslims don't possess the divine name of God, blah 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 blah, all the BS that comes with it, right? When you know very well, if you have studied ancient Israelite religion, and if you know the history, the archaeology, in fact, you will know that this claim is not true. Okay, that the this false god Yahweh could never be the name or the divine name for the one true God of Israel. Okay, so let me see now. There is some. I think I've shown this before in other videos of mine or live streams of mine, but I don't recall which. Okay, I actually wanted to record a special episode, a two parts episode regarding Yahweh, the name Yahweh, and the story behind Yahweh, etc. But yeah, commitments unfortunately is getting the better of me. But inshallah, in the future, perhaps after I've dealt with my issues, my offline issues, then inshallah I will record that. Yeah, just bear with me, I hope, inshallah. Let me see now. Probably it's not in this book. There's a nude figure in here. Sorry, I don't want to show that. It's a nude figure of Asherah in here. Okay, so Asherah is allegedly the wife of Yahweh. So you need to ask the Christians, did Yahweh marry a wife? Okay, yeah. So if the Christians can answer that, oh, that would be amazing, right? Okay, let me see now if I can find the. There's actually a lot of focus here on Asherah. Give me a moment. Nah, I don't see any images of Yahweh. Not in this book. Okay, it's not in this. Not particularly in this book. Mostly it focuses on Asherah. Okay, but there is mention of Yahweh being the husband, the deity husband of this lady god called Asherah, goddess called Asherah. Sorry. Okay, so yeah, I would suggest you actually get this book because this book actually has a lot of the references. That's for about Asherah. And yeah, this is another reference. Okay, when God had a wife, the fall of and rise of the sacred feminine in the Judeo-Christian tradition. Yeah, yes. So yeah, so this false god Yahweh. Okay, by the way, for those who are not who don't really understand the argument, YHWH, okay, it's not pronounced Yahweh as the Christians allege. All right, nobody knows how YHWH is pronounced. By the way, you should I should make this clear that I'm not denying that the Israelites referred to God as YHWH. I'm just denying and denouncing the idea that this YHWH is pronounced as Yahweh. Okay, I have absolutely no problems with accepting the idea that there may be a divine tetragrammaton with the letters YHWH. But I am denying and denouncing the idea of this tetragrammaton YHWH being pronounced as Yahweh. So I'm questioning the name Yahweh. I'm not questioning the idea of the tetragrammaton. Okay, I think that should be clear, right? With regards to how the tetragrammaton is actually pronounced, nobody knows. And frankly, me as a Muslim, I don't really care. I don't give a fuck because in Islam, we have 99 names of God. Okay, the 99 beautiful names of God. Asma al-Husna. So there are already 99 names of God. I don't need another name to tell me who God is. Okay. So I'm not particularly fussy or particularly curious to know what YHWH stands for. And frankly, it's not important. Okay, I don't really care. I don't really give a fuck because the Quran itself tells me that to all names, all beautiful names, or to God belong the most beautiful of names. So whether you call him YHWH, whether you call him Elohim, whether you call him Allah, whether you call him Al-Rahman, whether you call him Al-Malik, okay, whether you call him whatever Al is there in this world, to him belong all the most divine of names. So God is not possessive of one single name. Okay, that's the point of the Quran saying this. Okay, I don't remember what the verse number is, but this is in the Quran, right? Call upon God, or call upon Ar-Rahman, or call upon whatever name that you prefer, for to him belong the most beautiful of names. So Asma al-Husna. So I don't give a fuck what YHWH means, okay, or how it's pronounced. But one thing I'm certain is that it is not pronounced as Yahweh. And Yahweh, okay, is not my God. Okay, Yahweh is Satan. All right. So why I say that Yahweh is Satan? Because there is an image drawing, okay, of Yahweh, okay, as Satan, okay, or what you would say, or what appears to be satanic. All right. So how could God be drawn in such a manner? So if Yahweh is being drawn in such a manner, then I would say that that's not God, that is Satan. Okay, it's really that simple. All right. So okay, this is another book where I've just shown just now, right? When God had a wife, the fall and rise of the sacred feminine in the Judeo-Christian tradition. Yeah, he talks again about about Asherah being the divine consort of Yahweh. So does Yahweh have a wife? Does Yahweh fuck with a woman or with a goddess called Asherah? So if this is the God that you worship, then I'm sorry, because in Islam we believe that Allah, the most wise, the most powerful, does not have a wife. Okay, he's not married. He does not have a wife. He does not have a son. So therefore, Allah, or the one true God of Israel, the one true God of the Ishmaelites, can never be Yahweh, because this Yahweh was fucking around with a lady goddess called Asherah, right? Okay, so this book is talking about Asherah again. So not exactly what I wanted to show today. Okay, now this is a very important book. This is a very scholarly book called The Birth of Monotheism, The Rise and Disappearance of Yahwism. So this book is actually quite an expensive book. I think I remember mentioning this before. Oh yeah, I think this was the book that I regarding Yahweh, the Satan. Okay, so let me see now. It talks about before Yahweh, before the religion of Yahweh came about, the polytheism in the region. Okay, so let me see if I can find early Yahwism in Israel's Central Hill Country. That's the title of the chapter. Okay, let me see. Okay, here there's an idol here of the Moabites. Okay, an idol from the Moabite religion. And then there's some Egyptian, there's even an Egyptian stele here of the Egyptian religion. Okay. Yes, yeah, this is the one I wanted to show. Yeah, so this is Yahweh here, right in the middle. Oops, whether I can show that. Yeah, this is Yahweh. Yeah, this satanic god called Yahweh. Okay, so that is Yahweh the Satan. Okay, and yeah, this is his bride Asherah. Yep, you can see all three figurines are actually of Asherah, just one person. Okay, so that's Asherah. Okay. All right, so such bountiful tits. So the Christian god, or the Christian idol by the name of Asherah, of Yahweh, has a wife here, yeah, with big tits. Yeah. Let me see now. So okay, let me see now. Okay, so let me see now if I can find any majorly there's not much here. YHWH, right, is the one true God of Israel. And then how did Yahweh became the monotheistic religion of the Israelites? Okay, so yeah, like I said, I have zero problems with accepting the idea that YHWH refers to the God of Israel. It's just that I question the vowels. Okay, I don't believe for even 1 second that it's pronounced as Yahweh. right? So the vowels are just made up, okay, by the Christians. And why should I accept the pronunciation of the Christians when they say that it's pronounced as Yahweh? Okay, because it's not. Okay, even the Jews don't even know how YHWH is pronounced. Okay, this is the whole point. Okay, so yeah, I think I just showed just now the picture of Yahweh the Satan earlier. Okay, so yeah, so actually at the end of this book, okay, there's actually a chapter called, as an appendix, the pronunciation of the Tetragrammaton, YHWH. Okay, now I'm going to read some of the passage, okay, of the words from some of the paragraphs here. Okay. The earliest evidence of the Tetragrammaton, the four consonants representing the name YHWH, the God of Israel, is found on the Mesha stela, Moabite stone, which dates to the second half of the 9th century BCE. On this stela, the Moabite king Mesha describes the long-standing confrontation between Moab, or the land directly east of the Dead Sea, and Israel as a confrontation between their two national deities, Chemosh and YHWH. The Tetragrammaton later appears in Hebrew inscriptions from Kuntilat Ajrut and Khirbet el-Kom, dating to the 8th century BCE, and an ostraka, or inscribed postscripts, from Lachish and Arad, dating to the late 7th and early 6th centuries BCE. Okay, at least twice in inscriptions from Kuntilat Ajrut, and frequently in Aramaic documents from Elephantine in 5th century BCE, the Tetragrammaton is shortened to only 3 letters, YHW. This reduction to 3 letters also appears as a theoporic element in names from the southern kingdom of Judah during the First Temple period. Inscriptions from the northern kingdom of Israel simplify the Tetragrammaton to YW. According to the Bible, the proper name of the God of Israel is revealed to Moses. God tells Moses, "Thus you shall say to the Israelites, YHWH has sent me to you. This is my name forever, and this is my title for all generations." Quoting from Exodus chapter 3, verse 15. Okay. And now this scholar poses the question in this book, in this chapter, right, in this work. Do we know with any certainty how to pronounce this theonym? Okay. Now, and he answers this question, right, in the next paragraph. The exact pronunciation of the Tetragrammaton is very difficult to specify because the Jews of the Hellenistic and Roman periods avoided pronouncing the Tetragrammaton and replaced it with the reverential Hebrew title Adonai, or Master and Lord. In the Septuagint, a Greek translation of the Hebrew Bible dating to the 3rd and 2nd century BCE, Adonai is, for the most part, translated as Kyrios, and God is called Kyrios in the New Testament Greek. Later, around 6th century CE, the rabbis who produced the Masoretic vocalization of the Hebrew Bible gave the Tetragrammaton the vowels of the word Adonai. This has been interpreted as meaning that the divine name is pronounced Yehovah, but it really means that one should not pronounce the Tetragrammaton at all. Instead, one should substitute the honorific Adonai. See? So basically what I can summarize from this is that nobody knows, okay, how YHWH is pronounced. So it's definitely not Yahweh, okay? And the rabbis discourage people from pronouncing the Tetragrammaton, okay? Okay, now to continue, right? How did one pronounce the Tetragrammaton before the 4th century BCE, before the Hellenistic period? It is impossible to say with certainty because in the earlier period, only consonants were written. As a result, there are 3 possibilities. The first possibility is Yahweh, the second is Yahweh, and the third is Yahweh. Okay. Then the argument goes and discusses the sounds. So now my question to the Christians is simple. How do we pronounce, okay, according to this scholar, there are 3 valid pronunciations of the Tetragrammaton YHWH. The three pronunciations are Yahweh, Yahweh, and Yahweh. So how do we pronounce? So which is the correct one? So it can't be all three. So I repeat again. It's either Yahweh or Yahweh or Yahweh. So what's stopping me from pronouncing the pronunciation as Yahweh or Yahweh? I mean, what's stopping me from doing that? The scholar is saying that it's not necessarily pronounced as Yahweh. There's three pronunciations, and one of them is actually Yahweh. So if I pronounce it as Yahweh, is that the correct pronunciation? Can I challenge Christians to tell me which is the correct pronunciation for the Tetragrammaton YHWH? Because not even the Jews know how it is pronounced, and they discourage people from pronouncing the Tetragrammaton. So in other words, the pronunciation is actually lost forever. Okay, give me a moment while I take a swig at this. All right. Yeah. So sorry about that. Just had to take a swig at it. Yeah. So I think the point is clear that we don't know how YHWH is pronounced. The pronunciation Yahweh is not the only valid pronunciation, and Yahweh itself, then if you pronounce it as Yahweh, then it refers to an idol in early Israel, which has a wife called Asherah. So you're actually referring to an idol. Okay, so like Ganesha or Shiva or whatever. Okay, so I don't know whether Christians wants us to actually worship this idol, this false god called Yahweh, the Satan. Okay, so I see that there are a lot of comments. I'm actually surprised there are comments. Okay, can I read the comments one by one? Okay, last I checked, Yahweh don't marry and consummate the underage. Well, last I checked, Yahweh has a wife called Asherah and was fucking a goddess called Asherah. Yeah. Okay, so that is not my God, right? Alhamdulillah, yes. Thank you, brother, for joining this stream. Okay. Right. Can't wait for the sources. Inshallah, I've already given you the sources, brother. Okay. Right? Okay. You can't even pronounce Yahweh. It is the Tetragrammaton. Yes, correct. As I mentioned just now, earlier on, nobody knows how YHWH is pronounced. Okay. And the scholar here that I quoted from says that there are three different pronunciations for YHWH. So the question is simple. Which pronunciation is correct? And it definitely cannot just be Yahweh. Okay. Why do Christians claim that the correct pronunciation is Yahweh when there's the possibility of another two more pronunciations? What is their dalil? What is their proof that YHWH can be pronounced? Is only pronounced as Yahweh. So that's the thing. That's the question that we need to answer. That they need to answer, right? Okay. MNJ attacks his own God every day. No, I have not attacked my God. Okay, I know that my God is the one true God of Israel and of the Ishmaelites and of the Arabs and of the Malays in Malaysia. Here, my God, my one true God. His name is, well, we can call upon him upon every single beautiful name that is attributed to God. Okay, in my part of the world, back in the early days when Islam first came to the region, we actually called upon God, Dewata Mulia Raya. Okay, Dewata Mulia Raya, and of course we call the Messenger Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, right? We have not used the Arabized name for God, which is Allah. Okay, back in those days, but we already recognized that there's always been the one true God, and that this one true God can be called upon by any other name, any name in the world, which befits his position as the one true God of Abraham, the one true God of Moses, of Jesus, and of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So back in those days, in the early days of Islam in this region, God is referred to as Dewata Mulia Raya. I don't find any problems with that. My forefathers, my ancestors called upon Allah, the one true God, of God, the God, as Dewata Mulia Raya. Okay, no problems at all. I'm not going to claim that, or I'm not going to accuse my forefathers of worshipping another God simply because they called upon Allah as Dewata Mulia Raya. What kind of idiot would do that, right? Only Christians do that because Christians are that stupid, right? Okay, let me see now. The scribes forgot how to pronounce YHWH, so they made reasons to cover up their loss of memory how to pronounce it. Well, I think it's because it's not just because of that. I think it's also because the name or they regard the pronunciation of YHWH to be too holy to the point that it was not used. And eventually, when those who knew how to pronounce it passed away, those who were left did not know how to pronounce it because they have never heard it being uttered. Okay, so in the end, nobody knew how to pronounce it. Okay, so that is actually the contention here, right? It's odd to see missionaries say that the Quran is wrong because certain worship, for example, the pilgrimage to Mecca only exists in the Quran, not the Bible. Actually, the pilgrimage to Mecca exists in the Bible. You can actually read it in Psalms. I don't recall which chapter in Psalms. I think it's this chapter where the valley of Baca, right? Where the pilgrimage to the valley of Baca. I think it's Psalms 42. I don't remember. Okay, I'm sorry. At this juncture, I don't remember. I think I remember, or is it Psalms 83? I don't recall. I'm sorry. I will need to look it up. But basically, it's in Psalms. Okay, I think you can just Google it, and you will find that there is the mention of pilgrimage to Mecca. Okay. Let me see now. Where the biblical scholars got the vowel for Yahweh? Are you talking about the scholar that I quoted? Well, I think he based it upon several possibilities, historical and theosophic possibilities, etymological possibilities, that YHWH doesn't mean that you need to pronounce it as Yahweh or only Yahweh. There are many other possibilities. So among them is Yahweh as well, and Yahoo. Okay, I mean, and Yahuwah. So which is the correct pronunciation, right? It's definitely not Yahweh because we know that Yahweh is Satan. Okay, Yahweh, there's a picture of Yahweh. Okay, so I think we can discount the pronunciation that that the pronunciation is Yahweh, right? Okay. Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi, brother. I hope you're fine, Aki, right? Brother, would love to have you on my channel tomorrow this time, inshallah. Oh, brother, I'm sorry, Aki. Actually, I'm actually planning this live stream to be the only live stream for this month. The reasons being, I've mentioned it earlier in my live stream, earlier in the period, right? The reason is because I have some things going on at the moment. So if you have noticed, my channel has not been updated for quite some time due to several commitments that I have, and it's still ongoing. It's just that I've promised my viewers, including you, to be here live today. So I've decided to drop everything, and here I am. But you're only going to have me for, I guess, the next half an hour, because after this I'll be like shutting off everything and I'm going back to work. And I won't be doing any live streams for now, for at least another 2 or 3 weeks. I'm sorry, Aki. But I don't mind being on your channel. It's just that you probably need to let me know when you can have me on your channel, inshallah. But probably not tomorrow, Aki. Probably maybe next week. Maybe you can message me, Aki. You have my number. Okay. Please do message me and let me know when we can have a show on your channel, inshallah. Maybe next week. Okay. Sorry, I can't make it tomorrow. I'm sorry. I'm very, very sorry, Aki. All right. It's not that I don't want to. It's just that I have several commitments. Tomorrow, in fact, in the day, me and a cousin, okay, we are going to this place to carry some furniture from this office which have recently moved, and take some of their items, because I've paid for those items, and bring them to my studio. So my studio is going to have a nice shelf. It's going to have some chairs and tables and several items from this. Well, it's not, the office is not, the previous company moved to a different location, so they left some of the furniture behind. It's not that they worn out or anything of the sort. No, it's just that they don't need the furniture anymore. So I decided to buy them, and some office chairs and folding chairs, etc. So very, very nice furniture from IKEA. Okay, so they just abandoned it. So I just told them, hey, why don't you just give it to me then? And they said, okay, we'll give it to you for very, very cheap. And it was cheap. Okay, so I already paid for it, and inshallah tomorrow I'll be getting those furniture, and my studio, my unfinished studio, will have some furniture, right? At the very least, there is some furniture at the studio. Okay, so yeah, I'm as I mentioned also. Okay, I think I need to repeat this because I think there are some newcomers to the show. Welcome again to the show, brothers and sisters in Islam. Sorry for having to burst your bubble in that I will not be doing any live streams or recording or uploading any videos for now until 2 weeks or 3 weeks later, because of several commitments. And this is good news for the Christians. So yeah, I think the Christians are saying, "Hurrah!" Hurrah! MENJ is not updating his channel, but I'm not leaving my channel. All right. So my plan is, because something joyful has happened that will raise my economic standing, and hopefully next year, inshallah, I will have some dough, so to speak, to conduct some renovations on my studio. And by the end of next year, before the end of next year, I hope, Q3, I really, really hope it will be Q3, but it could be Q4. So between Q3 and Q4 of next year, hopefully, I will be able, inshallah, to have a studio of my own, inshallah, a renovated studio. Oh, by the way, go fuck yourself, Arto-san. Okay, I know what you are saying here, so I'm going to just block you. Okay, you little piece of shit. Okay, you are the fat pedo. Okay. Let me see now. Yeah, by the way, you do follow a pedo by the name of Isaac. Okay, who wrote a 3-year-old Rebecca. Okay, so that is the pedo for you. Okay. Anyway, yeah. So going back to the topic, which is Yahweh the Satan. Let me see now. Yes, there's another book that I have. Okay, I don't know whether you can see this. Yeah, Asherah and the Cult of Yahweh in Israel. Right. So this is also another book or another historical work which describes, okay, the issue of Asherah, okay, being the wife of Yahweh, okay, Yahweh the Satan, okay, and also yeah, there's actually some descriptions here. Yeah, okay, so it talks about the Yahweh cult. Okay, many scholars have suspected that a sanctuary dedicated to Yahweh existed in Samaria, although it was never mentioned in the biblical text. And then it quotes Hosea chapter 8 verse 5. Suggests this: if we are to take Sumeron as the city and not as a term for the northern kingdom, the meaning of Sumeron here, however, remains uncertain. An opposing view that Samaria was the exclusive Canaanite cult and political center of the northern kingdom was presented by A. Ott and has been defended in the recent years by H. Donner. According to this thesis, the Omrites put into practice a politico-religious dualism, separating the Israelite and the Canaanite elements in the state. Yet the Yahwistic cult centers were Dan, the name of a city, and Bethel and Jezreel, which serves as the capital for the Israelite segment of the population, while Samaria, as an autonomous city-state, was the focus of the Canaanite cult and government. The inscriptions mentioning Yahweh now makes it clear that a Yahwistic sanctuary existed in Samaria and that the Asherah stood in it. Clearly, the arguments for political and religious dualism in the north under the Omrites can no longer be sustained. Samaria was the capital of the kingdom with a sanctuary dedicated to Yahweh and also the temple dedicated to Baal mentioned in the text of the Kings, okay, the book of Kings, right, in the Bible. This is certainly not a surprise. The capital of a state ought to have a sanctuary dedicated to the national god, in this case, Yahweh. The exact status of the Baal temple remains unclear. So basically, the Israelites back then, they worship two gods. Okay, the first god was Yahweh, the Satan, and the second god is Baal, also of Satan. So there were two gods. Okay, so it's a duality. It wasn't monotheistic. Okay, and then the chapter goes on with all the descriptions here. I don't have to read all this. It's quite a lot. It's very scholarly stuff here. I would actually recommend you to get some of these books that I've shown earlier, and even this one, right? Yes, this one, yeah. Okay, so I have a lot of these books actually. I've been researching this for the past 2-3 years. Okay, because ever since the issue of Yahweh is the issue of Yahweh is mentioned, okay, by the Christians, right? So yeah, so fuck Yahweh, right? Yeah, fuck Yahweh the Satan. Okay, I denounce and I deny, okay, that this name Yahweh is the name of the one true God. Okay, so yeah, so if you read this further, okay, this is on page 74. I think this is the last page of the book. A place for Asherah and her cult symbol in the Israelite religion seems assured by recent discoveries and research on other extant texts. We believe that in the future, more scholars will adopt the view that Asherah had some role in the cult of Yahweh. Asherah and her cult symbol were legitimate not only in popular Yahwism, but in the official cult as well. The evidence of the Hebrew Bible alone suggests strongly that Asherah and the Asherah, okay, small a, were considered legitimate in the state cult, both of the north and of the south, in Jerusalem, Samaria, and Bethel, and probably in very conservative circles. The prohibitions and polemics against Asherah and her cult symbol attest to their popularity in the cult of Yahweh the Satan, in the Iron Age Israel. The evidence from Kuntilat Ajrud and probably Kibet El-Kom confirms this. An examination of Canaanite sources adds comparative depth and weight to any analysis of this data. Since Asherah remains El's consort and is not associated with Baal in Iron Age Canaanite religion, we can assert more confidently that Asherah's association with Baal in the Deuteronomistic history is polemical rather than a reflection of historical developments in West Semitic religion. Okay. Such polemic is to be compared to the Deuteronomistic attack on the bulls of the northern sanctuaries and on the cult of human sacrifice. The stem of Yahwistic illegitimacy is accorded to Asherah and her cult symbol when they are associated with Baal and his cultists. So to summarize this very long scholarly passage, the role of Asherah as part of the Yahweh's cult has been polemicized and has been hidden from those whoever it was who wrote the Hebrew Bible. But strong archaeological evidence have shown that there is a connection between the Yahweh's cult, the Yahweh cult, with Asherah. Okay, and that it has been earlier claimed that this Asherah, this goddess Asherah, has only connections with Baal. But since this book was written or was published in 1988, so the scholar is saying that in the future there will be more. Hopefully, there will be more connections between Asherah, more connections revealed between Asherah and this satanic god called Yahweh. Okay, the evidence is that, well, this was written in 1988. The books that I've quoted earlier on were written in 2000s, okay, 2012, 2014. So I guess the scholar's prediction in 1988 has now come true. Okay, and then this is another recent book of Yahwism. Okay. The origins of Yahwism. Okay, so let me see now. This was written in 2019. Okay. Yeah, I remember I bought this book. It was very expensive. Okay. So there's another pronunciation for YHWH. Yahweh. Okay. How do you put? So again, we have Yahoo, we have Yahovah, we have Yahweh, and now we have Yahweh. Okay. Remember, this was written in 2019. Okay. The book that I quoted earlier were written much earlier than that. Okay. So this is actually the latest research on Yahwism. Okay. So yeah, okay. There's also the pronunciation Yahweh, but without the H. So it's not Yahweh, it's Yahweh. They drop the H. Okay. They say there's Yahoo, there's Yahweh. Okay, there's another pronunciation here. The writing YW could stand for Yahweh. Okay, and thus represents the form of the divine name in the early Semitic A case. This theory has several advantages over the traditional explanation. Okay, the loss of H in the original syllable closing position, which would be assumed to be present, would be here phonetically very obvious. The form would not be typologically younger than the Yahoo form, which prevailed in Judah. The form would directly correspond to the syllabic writing Yahweh, or Yahweh, Yahweh. Okay, the H is dropped. Okay, which would otherwise be isolated. By assuming different basic shapes of the Yahweh name, the theory would, for the first time, provide an explanation for why this element has taken such various phonetic developments within a small geographical area. So the scholars actually acknowledging there are many different pronunciations for YHWH, and all of them are valid, and nobody knows how it's pronounced. Okay, so it's not just Yahweh. Okay, it's Yahweh, it's Yahweh, it's Yahovah, it's Yahoo. Yahoo reminds me of the search engine, by the way, but it's not spelled that way. Okay. So I mean, by the way, this is the latest scholarly research. Okay, so I would suggest anyone to who's interested in the subject to get it. Okay, it's actually very useful reference against the Christians who they annoy me so bad with this very poor argumentation that Yahweh is the divine name for God, because it's not. Okay, Yahweh is the name of Satan. Okay, let me see now. I'm going to so there's so many. I mean, it's so deep here, right? And I think I made my point clear, right? That this name Yahweh is not the name of the one true God. Okay. I think I'll show this last book, right? So this is the last book that I have. There's actually a few more, but it's almost 1 hour now. I only intend to be here for 1 hour at the most. So this is written by Mark S. Smith, The Early History of God, Yahweh, and the other deities in ancient Israel. Okay. Okay. I'm going to just block this motherfucking bastard here. Okay. Yep. Yeah. He can go fuck himself, right? So so there's also many discussions here. You can actually read. I mean, it's so tedious to actually study all this, but I don't know how I did it, but I did. Okay, I've actually read this book from cover to cover. I did this several months ago. Okay? It's basically talking about the history of the Yahweh cult, okay, in ancient Canaanite, and the deities in Israel, okay, during that period, okay, and the connection between the Canaanite deities with the Yahweh cult, okay, the Yahweh cult, as they call it, okay. So it's talking about Kuntilat Ajrut. Kuntilat Ajrut, by the way, is a place in occupied Palestine, where they found the inscriptions of or drawings of what is claimed to be Yahweh, and next to it his consort Asherah. Okay, so just in case I didn't clarify that, sorry, by the way, I didn't clarify that earlier, what Kuntilat Ajrut means, okay, or what the significance is to this story. Okay, so Kuntilat Ajrut is the name of the place, okay, where they found the inscriptions, okay, about Yahweh, the Satan. Okay. Sorry, my throat is parched, so Yeah, so there's some details here. Yahwistic cultic practices. Okay, I'm going to show this to prove that I'm not lying about this. All right. Yeah, you can see that Yahwistic cultic practices. So Yahweh, the Yahweh's religion is regarded to be a cult. Okay, so it can't be the one true religion of Abraham. Okay, so there's so many details here, right? And yeah, just yeah, and then there's also a chapter here regarding the origins and the development of Israelite monotheism, okay? Or the theory of how monotheism came to be in ancient Israel. Okay, and how did the idol Yahweh displace the monotheistic cult, the monotheistic belief in Israel, and became the predominant religion in ancient Israel. Okay, and how this was merged with the existing religion of Elohim. Okay, and yeah, I think we can actually see this in the Quran. There is this passage in the Quran where the prophet Elias, okay, was admonishing his people, and the Quran actually mentions Baal by name. Okay, I mean quoting Elias, the prophet Elias alayhi salam. The prophet Elias said, "Oh my people, do not give worship to Baal. Do not worship and worship only Allah, or worship only the one true God, Allah, the God." Okay. So the Quran here is clearly telling us, okay, that he knows that in ancient Israel, the worship of Baal was prevalent. Now the question is, if you are saying that the Quran was written by the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, how would an illiterate man in 6th century Arabia know of the cult of Baal, which happened like centuries before his time? Okay, because by the time Islam was started or was going to be established, by the time the Quran was revealed to the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, nobody knew the religion of Baal. Okay, all this knowledge that we have now was discovered only recently by archaeological findings and by studies, okay, that took place in the 18th or 19th century, much later. Okay, definitely much later. Okay, and nobody knew about the cult of Baal until very, very much later. But the Quran already mentions about the cult of Baal worship in Israel, in ancient Israel, during the time of Prophet Elias, or whom I believe to be the Prophet Ezekiel, in the 6th century. Okay, in the middle of a desert, and this Arab illiterate prophet by the name of Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was told, or was talking, or was already reciting verses talking about the cult of Baal. Now my question to those disbelievers is simple. How did the author of the Quran knew about the cult of Baal when this knowledge was not available to the Arabs in the 6th century? Okay, so why don't you try answering that question to me? Why don't you tell me whether the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was able to know of the cult of Baal existing in ancient Israel? So this is actually another proof of the miracle of the Quran. So this is a fun fact. Okay. For me, the Quran doesn't need to prove itself to me. I believe wholly in the message of the Quran. Okay. I believe that the Quran is truly the word of God. I don't need the Quran to give such miracles, such details to me to prove its miraculous nature. But the Quran did and has given its miraculous nature. Okay, many times. The Quran is a book of knowledge. We actually learn from the Quran. Okay, without realizing it, we actually learn from the Quran. There is this hadith. I believe this is a hadith from the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, where he says, "Teach your children the Quran, and the Quran will teach you everything." Okay, and yes, I believe this to be true. Of course, it's true. It's from the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, because we are always learning from the Quran every day. So the Quran in the 6th century Arabia knew of the cult of Baal in ancient Israel, which existed centuries before its time, And nobody in Arabia, especially not in the middle of the desert in 6th century Arabia, even knew of the cult of Baal. And yet the Quran already knows about this. And the Quran tells us about this. This is the proof. To me, this is the proof of the miraculous nature of the Quran. The Quran tells us something that nobody knew in 6th century Arabia and has been proven today in the 21st century. Okay. So yeah, why don't you suck on that, right? So yes, I think 1 hour has passed. Thank you, brothers and sisters in Islam, for joining me. There's 3 people right now. Earlier on, there was about 9 people. Well, I really did not. I thank you all, by the way, for coming on my live stream, and thank you for the support and love that you have shown to me. Okay, with the exception of this idiotic troll. I've permanently banned him from my channel, hopefully. So I think I have proven here that Yahweh is Satan, that Yahweh is not the divine name of God, that Yahweh has a wife called Asherah, and it is proven, okay, that Yahweh cannot be the name for the one true God of Abraham. Okay, and we Muslims should tell that, to rub it in the face of the Christians who keep telling us to worship this false god called Yahweh. Yahweh the Satan. Okay. And with that, thank you very much for joining my show. Inshallah, I'll see you again, but not for the next 3 or 4 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks, hopefully, tops. Okay, and if you like my channel, please do not forget to subscribe. If you like this video, please do like this video and share it to everyone that you know. And yes, please spread the message that Yahweh is Satan, that Muslims should not bow down to this false god called Yahweh, that Christians are wrong in claiming that Yahweh is the divine name for God, because it's not. And Yahweh is an idol from the early centuries Israelite, okay, from an early Israelite religion, which has a consort or a wife called Asherah. So most likely this Yahweh was fucking around with Asherah. Okay. So I'm not going to put any images in your head. You can think about it for yourselves. Okay. So with that, thank you very much for joining my show. Inshallah, I'll see you again. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.